this is my tiny home. I live here with my 2 dogs, 2 cats, and 2 birds. I'm currently parked in River's Edge Tiny Home Village in New Mexico. I am a licensed therapist in 4 states, and I do remote mental health therapy. I've been in mental health since 2001, so quite a bit of time. I sold my property in Tennessee last year so that I could transition into a tiny home. And I lived on a boat 8th grade and then all of high school. And it was funny when people asked me, are you going to be able to live tiny? And I'm like, I lived on a boat. Like, that was much smaller than this. And I owned a house in St. Pete that I bought as a fixer-upper and then sold right before the housing crashed, and then bought 37 acres in Tennessee. My only requirements were it had to be an hour commute to Nashville because I knew I could find work, and I wanted over 10 acres. I had no idea what I was getting into. And then decided that it was hard to maintain a full house and all the acreage, and I got divorced last year. And so then that's when I sold my property and then decided to build a tiny home. My tiny home got delivered in April, so I've been here roughly about 2.5 months. It is 44 foot long, it's a gooseneck, 8.5 foot wide, so it's road legal, and roughly about 23,000 pounds. I'm parked here at River's Edge. I got to choose my lot, and I'll be here for at least a year, but it continues the way it's going, I'll probably stay a little longer. Starting on the outside, I have my fence, which I put up after moving in. It's about 160 feet of dog fencing. Very easy to put up. These little posts, you just hammer right into the ground. They go in about like that, and they just all connect. So then when I do decide to move, I'll be able to just pull it up and move my fencing with me. So one of the things I really like about my tiny home, as funny as it sounds, is my storage shed, which has an opening here. I have 4 foot by 8 foot roughly. So I have all my tools, and then my cat door. So my cats come in, their litter box stays here, their food bowl stays here, all their supplies stay here. Right now the cats are still getting used to it, but they just come and go all hours of the day. And then I have a tankless hot water system, so that sits in here. I have my old dishwasher that's got to go back, and I hope to set up my inflatable hot tub kind of down in that area, and then have an eating area under the canopy. So when Rolo is running up and down and playing, he gets hot. He's an English bulldog. So when he's done playing, I tell him, let me have your toy, and then he gets in his pool and he cools off and he lays down, and then we wipe him off and dry him off, and then we go in. So he loves a pool though. So that's pretty much everything on the outside. Why don't you guys come in and see the inside? Welcome to my tiny home. This is the Phoenix. One of the things that we had to make sure in the design of the tiny home was making sure that the bird cage would fit and that we could be able to move around, and also placement of windows because the birds really enjoy having windows. In here, this is Frank. He's my blue front, and you'll hear him throughout. Vincent is his companion. And then I have built-ins for my couch area. So there's 3 drawers, which are huge under here. And then behind the cushions, when you lift them up, there's also additional storage behind there. I actually have so much storage in my tiny home that I'm not using all of it yet. Eventually my TV, I'll get to hang it out of the box and put it up here. And so that will be really cool. one of the things behind Rollo's steps here, right back there, is the cat door that goes into the storage area. So the cats actually go up the stairs and then down behind and in there. Their cat litter's in there and their food's in there, which also keeps the dogs out of it. This is Rollo. He's my 3-year-old English bulldog. I have 2 dogs. They are my emotional support animals. Echo, which you'll meet shortly, he's 12. As we leave the living room area, we're heading into my kitchen area. One of the things that my hairless cat loves is to lay in the window, and I found this, it suction cups to the window. And so then both Notch, my furry cat, and my hairless cat like to sleep in that. And they found it wonderful. Having nice countertops was really just an extra like treat for me. So I actually found Cambria, I think is the manufacturer. So we had to buy the whole slab to be able to do my countertops, but I didn't even know they sparkled till I moved in and turned on the lights, and I was like, hey, they sparkle. In choosing colors, I love a lot of color. So one of the things I wanted was to have my kitchen cabinets this color, which is called Belize. Finding these countertops, the turquoise color really just tied in like super well to the cabinet color. And then my cabinets are they're the soft close, which I found is phenomenal. And then I have tons of storage, like more than I could ever use. I love having kitchen drawers for most of my things. The dogs, of course, have their own drawer because my animals all have their own space. My dishwasher gets a front because I had to have it replaced. The builder was excellent about that. The one that came, the front had been delivered dented and they didn't realize it till the open house. I've ordered this one and installed the new one, and then it leaks, so the manufacturer is going to come out since it's brand new. I have extra kick-out storage. I have 2 on this side, and then I also have 2 on that side. So I have pull-out trash here, which is absolutely necessary because there's no place for a trash can. For the last couple of years, even in my home, I really wasn't using my oven much, and I wanted the extra space instead. So I decided to just do the cooktop with the convection oven and the microwave, and so far that does everything. Between that and my air fryer, I don't really need an oven. My kitchen sink is actually the standard sink the builder provides you. So on the other side from my sink, I have pull-out pantry systems, which holds quite a bit of stuff, especially as a single person. This is my broom closet, where I've gotten creative and hung cup hooks to hang things up and down the walls. It also holds my telescoping ladder, so that I can reach 12.5 feet, I think, so I can get up there. And then I have my fridge on the top and freezer drawers on the bottom, and it has an ice maker, which has been invaluable in the desert. One thing that was important, it was for me to have a washer and dryer in my tiny home. I do a lot of laundry, especially with the animals. So I have a washer on the bottom and a dryer on the top. It actually is ventless. The stacking kit comes with this pull-out shelf, which is awesome, so that when you're pulling clothes out of the dryer and folding, you have a place for that. I have one mini split system here. I have another one in the office, and then that attic storage is probably at least as deep as a king size bed, and it's definitely as wide, so it would be about 8.5 feet wide.
Now for a brief message from our sponsor, Mr. Cool. Are you hot and handy? I know I am. Well, if so, Mr. Cool has a powerful solution for you, a DIY ductless mini split. Install it yourself, no HVAC professional needed, saving you time and moolah. Their high efficiency, 4th gen DIY ductless mini split system is absolutely perfect for tiny houses and small space homes. We chose the 12,000 BTU model for our little A-frame. I've had absolutely no experience with HVAC work or any kind of specialized training, so it's been a real relief with how simple the installation process has been, especially with the cutting-edge features like the pre-charged line sets. Also, Mr. Cool's detailed instructions were super helpful in walking me through the step-by-step process. And now, I'm cool as a cucumber. And when winter hits, our A-frame will be toasty warm. So get your Mr. Cool 4th Gen ductless mini split system today. See the link in the description.
I probably have a lot of animals in a tiny home, if we're talking kind of average standards. Frank is my blue-fronted Amazon. I got him when he was 12 days old. Vincent, I've had a little longer. I got him first, and he's Frank's company because he hates me. Vincent is 22 years old, and Frank is 19. And then Echo is my old man. He's 12. And then Rolo is my 3-year-old English. And then I have a furry cat that was a rescue. And then I have a hairless cat. So I chose Indigo River Tiny Homes as my builder. I'd looked at a bunch of different builders over the last 12 months. And one of my favorite things about them is that every model they build is custom. So they sit down with you and they take about 2 hours. We did it virtual. I'm sure you could do it in person with them. They're in Dallas. But they sit down with you and ask you what you want, and then they draw it while you're talking. And then once you do your floor plan design, because you pay for that, if you want to build it, you get the plans, they're yours. If you want to have a different builder build it, then the plans are yours. Or if you want to have them build it, then they take the floor plan price off. And they had a special last August where I got the SIPs, the structural insulated panels, upgrade for free as long as I booked in August. And so I did. And they've been phenomenal. They're really kind of like family. My final cost, if we include the free SIPs upgrade, was roughly $217. And then without it, it was, I think, $196 was my total. I kind of just put everything on the list that I wanted, because I was like, if this is going to be my dream home, then I want to get everything that I want. And so that's why I have the rooftop deck and some things like that. It was much less than what I would have spent in a traditional home with this kind of quality. So back at the very tail end of the house, we have the bathroom, which has a pocket door that slides out. I do have a full-size tub and shower with acrylic surround. And then I have drawers that pull out, which is really awesome. And then extra storage here. I also opted for my bathroom sink pulls down like this to be able to clean a little better. And then I have my medicine cabinet, which is cool because it has a mirror on the inside as well. I have a composting toilet, which has been not difficult to learn to use, pretty easy. It vents right out, and I figured if I could learn to use a composting toilet, it would save a lot of water. I had absolutely no idea how much water it would save until being here, and the amount of water it saves is quite astronomical. I just don't have hardly any water usage as far as the bill goes. But it's pretty much the size of a standard apartment bathroom, I would say. So if we head to the other end, we can actually go upstairs. Believe it or not, you can have 2 stories in a tiny home. So one of the things my builder is pretty notorious for is being able to walk around your bed in the tiny home, whether you're in a loft or you're on ground level. So these steps are built in. I have one here with hold handles, one there, and then there's one at the foot of the bed if I wanted to come up from that direction. So if you climb up, it's really kind of like climbing a ladder. And then I'm short enough that I can actually kind of squat here, make the bed if I need to. And this is a queen size bed. And I have my guardrails, and it's kind of like a cocoon up here. Urchin, you can see, he loves to be up here. He gets under the blanket or sits in his heated bed. Notch lays up here quite a bit too. Owning land was amazing, and if I had never owned land, I definitely would want the opportunity. And it was wonderful in the sense of where I was, and I enjoyed it and loved it, but it also was a lot of maintenance. And owning a 3-bedroom house with 37 acres, I had goats at one time. I've had a llama, an alpaca, a potbelly pig, and so I got the full farm experience. But farming is really hard work, and it's not always emotionally easy. And you have a lot of loss sometimes with animals. You have a lot of sickness. And so tiny living lets me maintain a level of like living inside that I can maintain, I can keep clean, I can, fix or repair, and then I can go out and do things. I always felt tied to my land. Like if I wanted to go out and like explore something, I think I explored 2 waterfalls in 15 years in Tennessee, and I've already been hiking 3 times here, and I've been here 2.5 months. And I feel that I can do that because I'm not always trying to keep a couple of acres mowed, or trying to keep the brush back, or trying to like make sure that we're not going to have a mudslide, or, any numerous things. And it lets me be debt free. Selling my property let me like pay off my truck. No student loans, thankfully, anymore. As soon as I'm done paying off the small loan that I have on the rest of my tiny home, because I paid for most of it, then I can live for rent and utilities less than $500 a month. Like, who can beat that? So, as you'll see, I have this big window here, which is my rooftop deck. And I have a case window, so when I unlock it, then I swing it out. And this is my rooftop deck, which is 11 feet this way, and over in this section it's 8.5 feet. It's got 2 electrical outlets, which is really nice. And so the dogs come out with me up here and we can watch the sunset. And we're roughly, I think, about 13 feet in the air up here. I hope to have like a table up here and maybe one of the storage benches so that I can have dog toys and things up here. And it's a great place to look at the stars. As we go this way, one of the things that I talked about earlier was the builder had extended this so Rollo would have his stairs. And then I have built-ins here. I'm going to slide these out. So I have dual wardrobes, and then these are giant drawers, and I have 6 drawers, 2 wardrobes on either side. So I actually can keep spring and summer clothes on this side and fall and winter clothes on this side, and I don't have to rotate them. I never thought that would be possible in a tiny. I also installed this fan. It's a tower fan, and I can use it. It's like a smart fan. So I installed that to pull from the mini split that's in the office. I did cover the windows with heat reflective film as well, since I'm in the desert. And then I have a full door that shuts for my office. This is where I see clients. I have a mini split. This is my desk. I have a sit to stand desk, so it goes up and down. I try to stand about every other session. So one of the things that also I was really concerned about being in a tiny home is because I have 2 parrots, they can get really loud at times, and they like to talk when you're talking. So if I'm doing sessions, that's a concern of noise in the background. And so I have a full office door, which also locks, part of HIPAA requirements as a mental health professional. This way I'm as far away from the birds in my tiny home as I can be. And then I have a noise canceling headset, which helps. And so far, nobody's heard them, even when they have made noise in the background. And then the only place the cat tree would fit because of its height was in here. So my clients get a kick out of seeing the cats hang out or sometimes fall in the middle of session. As things have changed across the political climate, noticing all the different laws that have transpired around the LGBT community, it began to feel not super safe. I didn't feel unsafe when I first moved there, but about 2015, 2016, it began to get pretty unsafe there. And so I decided that I would try living in a blue state. Never lived in a blue state. And coming out here, it's been vastly different. I don't have a lot of fear disclosing that I'm in, and I just shorten our letters down to the queer community. So I don't have much fear of that, but I had a lot of fear of disclosing that in some areas in Tennessee, and then even in some areas in Florida. And then with all the different laws that are being passed, it's quite terrifying at times to think we could lose rights. Finding this community, I was really grateful. I started in Colorado and I checked out, I think, 4 different tiny home, well, they were probably RV resort communities, and they actually all denied me because I had too many animals. But I own my home and my birds and cats don't ever go outside. And I actually had somebody tell me that I should reconsider living tiny, that maybe I needed to downsize animals. And I told them, okay, bye. And I happened across River's Edge. I'm not really sure how I crossed paths other than the internet. I messaged Jill and told her, my situation. And she was like, yeah, sure, come on. And so that's kind of how I ended up here. But everybody is super nice. And nice in a different way. The South is notorious for being everybody's so nice, but it's a different kind of feel. I've had people come up and just offer to help. Everybody introduces themselves, so I love living here so far. Being neurodiverse, it really is a huge barrier sometimes if we don't have organization systems or we don't have things that function really well. And so one of the things that I love about the tiny home is that everything has a spot. And so it can't stay out. There's not enough room. And then having all kinds of places for where things go, it's much more manageable. And if I need to keep it tidy, we're talking an hour, maybe an hour and a half each week. Instead of trying to keep up with a whole entire house, you're talking 6 or 7 hours of cleaning each week if you're gonna keep it clean with animals. And so having the tiny home, it feels much more realistic in being able to keep things up to date, manageable, organized, put away, without having to kind of worry about things stacking up or piling up, things like that. And if I get bored, I just move my house and I have a new place.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.